New tonight at 11, tragedy on the Oregon coast as authorities discover an overturned jet ski and then find the rider. Plus,
we could permit that to continue without even responding.
Why Portland Fire's new approach to tackling fires started by homeless campers appears to be letting some of them burn. And later,
I'm excited to get down here and be a part of history.
With just over 36 hours till the Oregon Ducks hit Miami's Hard Rock Stadium in the Orange Bowl, and with that, make a little history. But first to our top story, just over 24 hours before a brand new year and what appears to be a significant decrease in the number of homicides in the city of Portland this year. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. Let's go right to Joe Ranieri in the newsroom. And Joe, according to Portland police, they are down some 27% compared with last year.
And David, it's the fewest numbers authorities say they've seen in about several years since 2020. Police crediting their collaboration with community groups.
Over the last two nights, Portland streets have been violent. From the latest that was here just east of Mall 205 in the Hazelwood neighborhood, where one person was shot. On Sunday night, it was in downtown, where one person was shot and killed outside Voodoo Donuts.
Shootings are still happening. Family members are still mourning. So we want to highlight that as we have that, small reprieve, the numbers go down, that it's not the championship. We still got a lot of work to do.
Despite the violence we've seen the last couple of nights, the number of deadly shootings and shooting incidents have dropped over the last 12 months.
I'm really excited about, seeing the fruits of the labor of a lot of people that have been putting a lot of effort in creating community safety.
Lionel Irving is the director of Love is Stronger. It's a nonprofit that works with the black community to reduce gun violence and gang violence.
We need to be more intentional with the collaboration, and we need to double down on the resources.
He says the numbers are dropping because there's more of a team effort between the city, the Portland Police Bureau, and community outreach teams.
I've been with the Office of Violence Prevention for quite some time. And this is the first time I've seen the level of collaboration intentionally coming from the city.
Dan Douthit, a spokesperson for the city of Portland, said in a statement, as of last month, fatal shootings are down 34% over the last 12 months. He also said working with the Portland Police Bureau's community groups like Enhanced Community Safety Team have played a role too. Even though Irving sees things improving,
I see a lot of positives happening, but I don't want to start, thinking that we can rest.
He says there's still more work that needs to be done.
Now, David, shooting incidents have dropped too. So far this year, that number is at 570. Last year, it was around 800. Well, the three previous years were each right around 1,000.
A lot more work, but at least the numbers are going in the right direction. Appreciate it, Joe. Well, it's not just homicides and shootings, with Portland police reporting traffic deaths have dropped by nearly a third this year compared with last. According to PBB's most recent data, there have been a total of 45 traffic deaths in the city this year. It's compared to 67 at the end of 2024. It also marks the lowest number of traffic deaths since 2018. That's when PBB recorded 37. New tonight, the U.S. Coast Guard says a jet ski rider has died on the coast near Gearhart. Authorities say a chopper crew from Air Station Astoria was training in the area around 3 this afternoon when they spotted the overturned jet ski, triggering the search. Police later found the rider's body on the beach. This is drone video of the emergency response. Officials have not released the person's identity or provided any information about how they died. Let's take you outside on what I like to call New Year's Eve. Another chilly night on this Tuesday with cold weather emergency shelters once again open in places like Clark and Clackamas counties. Chief Meteorologist Matt Spanos here with your first forecast. Matt, any folks will need to scrape their windshields in the morning?
Yeah, frost has been a concern the last couple of mornings, and it will be again tomorrow morning, unless it's windy in your neighborhood, and then you're just going to be windy and cold. Up at the Oregon Zoo right now, beautiful. The lights are still up, 39 degrees. The winds are calm there, so stay up in the West Hills. Good chance you'll be scraping the windshield in the morning there. Temperatures are running about the same as they were at this time last night, degree or two cooler in Hillsborough, McMinnville. Salem's 5 degrees cooler, and Astoria 7 degrees cooler. So again, the good chance there'll be frost in areas where it's not windy. Temperatures as low as 30 in Hillsborough right now, already below freezing there. 31 in Scappoose, 33 in Aurora. So we likely have frost forming at this hour already in the areas that are not experiencing the east wind. Look at Corvallis and Eugene, already down to the 20s right now. So it's cooled off quite rapidly. In Portland, we'll drop to the low 30s, then climb out of it. But the close-in neighborhoods, if you are wind protected again, that's where you got the potential for frost in the morning. But we make 50 tomorrow, so we warm up quite nicely. And these cold mornings are numbered. After tomorrow morning, they'll be warming up there is a concern. I've got a concern for freezing rain in parts of eastern Oregon on New Year's Day. We'll talk about that later, David.
All right, but we'll take the 50 on New Year's Eve.
You bet.
Well, as nightly temperatures drop, Portland Fire and Rescue is changing how they respond to campfires that are started by homeless people. This is video from last year showing the Southeast Portland apartment complex in flames after a fire at a nearby homeless camp spread. There it is. Portland Fire says it's now allowing homeless people to make small fires to stay warm and cook as long as they are contained and low risk. We're told this is now case by case, and ultimately it's up to the firefighters' discretion. Here's why.
What we found is if we go respond to these scenes and just extinguish the flames and leave, the population that's utilizing the flames in an open setting, in a contained setting that's safe and low risk, will often hide. They'll move into an alleyway, they'll move up against a building, or even worse yet, inside a tent.
City of Portland is also reviewing its policy around what it calls warming fires. To an update now on the aftermath of all the storms we saw this month, including an atmospheric river that had the Clackamas in spots spilling over its banks. It turns out Red Cross volunteers are still going door to door, trying to help as many people as best they can. Libby Dowser reports from the Paradise Park area northwest of Estacada.
The Clackamas River here beside me came over the banks, seeped into the homes behind me, into their basements, in their crawl spaces, and then spread out throughout this neighborhood on Paradise Road. Now the Red Cross wants to know who is still in need of a helping hand.
John and Linda with the Red Cross, do you have any damage inside your house?
Red Cross volunteers John Vinja and Linda Sullivan are hitting the streets to check in with Paradise Park neighbors who are still cleaning up from the mid-December floods.
Well, I think we've talked with like 4 or 5 different families so far, because they'll tell you, you know, the kitchen got affected or bedroom, bathroom.
It definitely came up into their neighborhoods and stuff, but luckily most of the homes that we've been in contact with, the water damage was to non-living areas. In other words, it came into the basement, it came into the garage.
December 18th, a churning, angry Clackamas River overflowed its banks and sent water gushing through the streets.
Our daughter had a roller coaster toy. It was all the way on the other side of the neighborhood.
Spencer Morgan says he's still trying to figure out what actually washed away from his shop.
So we can offer them resources in the area to try and replace furnishings. We can offer them a little bit of money if they need it to replace things. Most of them have been pretty lucky. The ones that weren't home are the ones, of course, that look like they may have sustained some pretty good damage in living areas.
Volunteers say if you're in need of assistance, all you have to do is call 1-800-RED-CROSS and expect to see volunteers canvassing neighborhoods like this one in the coming weeks. In Paradise Park, Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Glad to see help out there and people pitching in. All right, to get you caught up on tonight's other headlines, new at 11, Legacy Health and striking workers that include nurse practitioners and physician associates have now reached a second tentative agreement. According to the Oregon's Nurses Association, the new deal addresses pay and creates a new committee to work out other workplace issues. The new deal comes after 135 or so advanced practice providers, as they're known, who've been on strike since early December, rejected the first tentative deal. The union says the current strike will end before a vote to ratify the new contract is finished. We have reached out to Legacy Health for comment. In Hillsborough, police have released new details about a homicide Saturday when a 41-year-old man was found shot to death, they say, in a car in front of a home. Authorities say they were initially told the shooter was still inside the house, only to get a call the suspect was actually in another home 3 miles away. As they were headed there, they got yet another call that the suspect had left and was headed to South Meadows Middle School. That's where officers finally caught up, they say, with 32-year-old Oscar Ruiz Santiago. They say the suspect and the victim knew each other. Ruiz Santiago now faces murder and multiple weapons charges. And reports of power surges causing lights to flicker across parts of northeast Portland are apparently related to repair work on a substation that was damaged by fire in September. Pacific Power saying some customers were connected to adjoining stations in order to keep the lights on, but after the surges last night, the utility sent crews back out today to make more adjustments, which they say should fix that issue moving forward. Well, to a tough and understandably traumatic afternoon for one family who witnessed the remains of their son being removed from a Portland cemetery plot after the cemetery accidentally sold the same piece of land twice. A warning, the video here shows the disinterment and may be jarring for some viewers. After 20-year-old Tiber Harrison was hit and killed by a car in Florida in 2016, his mother Paula bought a plot on a bluff at Skyline Memorial Gardens and buried a memorial vault to him there. Sometime after, the cemetery realized it had previously sold that same plot to the Reeser family, who did not want to give it up. So the cemetery filed a lawsuit, one they eventually won, to force the disinterment of Harrison's memorial vault. We spoke with Paula's husband after Harrison's remains were removed.
I would describe it as the third time she had to bury her son, to experience that just brutal pain. And it was done so in a way that, underlined a level of cruelty and inhumanity. I think there's a great deal of anger. I think that, bigger picture, this company should not be able to perform business this way.
Skyline's parent company, Dignity Memorial, declined to comment. Harrison's family says they are considering an appeal.